It's 2002, and in a quiet house in Bridgeport, Connecticut, a 14-year-old girl named Ava is jolted awake by a sound in the dark. Her mind flashes back to something her father once told her, that he wouldn't always be around to protect her, and that one day, she'd have to protect herself. That night, those words stop being a warning and become a command. Ava slips out of bed and creeps toward the noise. What she finds shatters her world. Her father, a drug lord, lying dead, gunned down by two masked intruders. Fast forward 12 years. Ava has just come out the other side of a brutal battle with drug and alcohol addiction. And now she's standing at the altar, about to marry a man named Derek Grant. Fittingly, the two fell in love the way survivors often do. They met at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. After the wedding, the newlyweds jet off to a Caribbean island to begin their honeymoon. Lucky for them, Derek's parents own a summer house on the island, so accommodation is already taken care of. At first, paradise lives up to its name. The couple is falling even harder for each other, and for the island itself. One evening, as Ava and Derek unwind over drinks, Derek steps away for a moment, telling her not to go anywhere until he's back. That's when Manny appears, inviting them out to a nightclub to make the most of the night. But the night takes a violent turn. While Ava and Derek are dancing, a notorious local gangster known as Big Biz sets his sights on her. When Derek steps in to defend his wife, Big Biz throws the first punch. What happens next is pure chaos. Ava explodes into action, taking down every man who comes at her. She's so far gone in the fight that she nearly throws Derek to the ground too, until his voice cuts through and pulls her back. Manny hustles the couple out of the club and into a waiting cab. He's stunned, half in shock, half in awe of just how lethal Ava is. Derek, on the other hand, is shaken. He tries to calm her down. Back inside the club, Big Biz gets a warning from Lugo, the man running the whole operation. The next morning, Derek and Ava are woken by frantic pounding on their door. It's Manny. He warns them that Big Biz has sent men to settle the score, and for a moment, panic sets in. They're on an island with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Then Manny bursts out laughing. It was all a joke. He's really there to drag them out of bed for something else entirely, a ride on El Volador, Spanish for the Widowmaker. It's a zip-line course cutting straight through the rainforest. The three of them cruise through the shorter lines with no problem, but when it's time for the mile-long stretch, Ava, terrified of heights, backs out. That leaves Manny and Derek, both buzzing with adrenaline and ready to go. Manny takes off first, then Derek follows, but disaster strikes. Derek's harness snaps mid-descent, leaving him clinging to the line by nothing but his arms and legs. Ava watches in horror, her stomach in knots. She races into the forest and finds him on the ground, his leg shattered. He's unconscious, but alive. Barely. An ambulance is already on its way, arriving just in time to rush him away. But there's no room for Ava in that ambulance. She's left behind with her husband gone. Officer Garza steps in and takes her there as well. Later that night, when a suspect tries to slip away, Ava takes matters into her own hands. She starts questioning him her way, threatening to hurl him off the same cliffside where Derek fell. It works. He breaks. Ava gets his confession on tape and races straight to the police station. But the reaction she gets isn't the one she was hoping for. Officer Garza sets her straight. Whatever tactics fly back home in America, they don't fly here. So he has her put on a ferry, ready to be shipped off the island for good. On board, Ava asks to use the bathroom, but the officer assigned to watch her insists he can't let her out of his sight. He walks her to the restroom, and that's his mistake. She turns on him, overpowers him, and steals his keys. She bolts back to the main deck and dives straight off the ferry, swimming back toward the island to keep searching for her husband. You've got to respect that kind of nerve. After a quick shower and a change of stolen clothes, Ava tracks down Manny, making it very clear she needs answers about where Derek is. She shows him a logo she found and demands to know what it means. Manny tells her everything he can, though the truth is, he has no idea what actually happened to Derek. Still, he's willing to help however he can. He brings her home, introduces her to his mother, and gives up his own room for her to stay in. The next morning, he drives her through the neighborhood, hunting for the man rumored to have driven the ambulance that day. The trail leads them to an underground fighting arena, where Manny quietly films the crowd while Ava scans through the footage on her phone, searching for a match. She spots him, leaving with a woman on his arm, and takes off after him alone, leaving Manny behind. She trails him deep into the slums, loses him for a moment, and then he ambushes her out of nowhere. It doesn't end well for him. Ava knocks him out cold, ties him up, and starts the interrogation. He swears he knows nothing, but in his panic, he lets his brother's name slip. Ava calls the brother immediately, hoping this is finally the break she needs. But when he shows up, he doesn't come to talk, he comes to fight. For the first time, Ava faces someone who actually gives her trouble. With no other option left, she kills him to save herself. And just like that, her only lead is gone. She's right back where she started, at the police station. Garza has her loaded into a car, supposedly bound for the state prison. But something's wrong. They're deep in the woods, and Ava realizes the officers aren't transporting her at all. They're planning to kill her and bury her where no one will ever find her. She doesn't hesitate. Ava snaps her own thumb to slip free of the handcuffs, then turns on both officers, and neither one survives. Later that night, Garza's phone rings. It's supposed to be one of his men. Instead, it's Ava's voice on the line. She tells him to meet her in his daughter's bedroom, then hangs up. Garza grabs a revolver and rushes down the hall, only to freeze in the doorway. Ava is standing over his sleeping daughter, gun raised. He nearly panics, but Ava warns him to stay quiet. The last thing she wants is to wake the little girl. She takes his weapon and orders him to sit. Then she gives him an ultimatum: talk about Derek or watch what happens to his daughter. Terrified for his child's life, Garza finally cracks. He admits he's responsible for Derek's disappearance, and he's sorry. He explains the debt he owed to a doctor named Elbar, who once saved his daughter during a medical emergency at birth, on the condition that Garza would keep his wife's pregnancy a secret from everyone. But Ava doesn't care about his backstory. She wants one thing: where is her husband? So Garza lays it all out. While treating Derek's broken leg, Elbar made a fatal mistake and punctured an artery. He couldn't save him. Derek was gone. Afterward, Elbar pulled Garza into the cover-up, pressuring hospital staff and witnesses to claim Derek never even made it through the doors. All to keep Ava quiet and protect his clinic from being shut down by the American government. Once she's heard it all, Ava tells Garza to end his own life with the gun. He begs her not to. The noise would wake his family, and he refuses to let his daughter witness something that traumatic. So Ava gives him a different way out, one he ultimately accepts, a final act to atone for what he's done. By the time it's over, it looks like nothing more than a man who took his own life. Ava walks away with only a fraction of the closure she was hoping for. Behind her, a trail of bloody footprints marks her path, and even now, she can't quite bring herself to accept that Derek is really gone. She returns to Manny's house in tears, grieving the husband she's lost. All Manny can do is sit with her in it. After resting, Ava makes a decision. She won't let Elbar walk away clean after what he did to Derek. The next morning, she tails the female hospital attendant who once lied to her face, claiming Derek never arrived at the hospital at all. Ava chokes her into submission, takes her ID, and hides her body in the trunk of a car. Disguised and disappeared into the hospital, Ava corners Elbar himself, pulling a plastic bag over his head to force the truth out of him about what really happened to Derek. While she has him cornered, Elbar directs her to a surveillance screen, and what she sees stops her cold. Derek is alive. He's being wheeled into the hospital in a wheelchair, surrounded by thugs under the command of Lugo himself. Fury takes over. Ava is seconds from shoving her gun down Elbar's throat when he offers her one last lifeline: a way to actually save her husband. Because if Elbar dies, Derek dies with him. Minutes later, disguised as a nurse assisting Dr. Elbar, Ava walks straight into a room full of Lugo and his men. Lugo eyes the unfamiliar face suspiciously, but Elbar smooths it over. In the operating theater, Ava tries to quietly sedate Lugo, but the plan falls apart, and her cover is blown instantly. She doesn't miss a beat. Gun drawn, she takes down every one of Lugo's men in the room. She buys Derek precious time, right up until Lugo rises back to his feet, and she's forced to hold him at gunpoint once more. That's when Lugo reveals the truth. He's dying, battling a rare and aggressive cancer called multiple myeloma. He'd bribed Elbar to find him a compatible donor, someone whose stem cells and bone marrow could save his life. And Derek turned out to be a perfect match. None of it changes anything for Ava. She grabs Manny, and together they make a break for it out of the theater. Escaping the hospital isn't easy. One of Lugo's men ambushes them along the way. But Ava fights her way through and takes him down. With Manny's help, and a group of local kids improvising weapons out of whatever they can find. They manage to slow Lugo's men down just enough to keep moving. The couple takes refuge in a nearby village, where Manny's connections pay off. The villagers hide them and start picking off Lugo's men one by one. Eventually, Lugo catches up to Ava, and the two collide in a brutal one-on-one showdown. Ava comes out on top, a knife pressed to his throat. The villagers chant for his death, but before Ava can finish it, Big Biz steps out of the crowd and takes the knife from her hands. He's the one who ends Lugo, then tells Ava to go, to take her husband and leave this place behind for good. In the end, Ava and Derek say their goodbyes to Manny and step aboard a speedboat, finally heading home. And that's where the story ends. This has been a recap of the 2014 film In the Blood, directed by John Stockwell and starring former MMA fighter Gina Carano. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible movie stories like this. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.